Good afternoon everyone, it's Tuesday the 2nd of March. Thought I'd do a quick update on work in progress in Thistle. You can see behind me the fridge housing. This is the fridge that featured in my video about mains fridges and camper vans, and it's complete with dents and various damage, although it's a brand new fridge. I got it for £30 from Amazon as damaged stock, and I will do something about the dents in it one day. Might fill it and paint it, but thought I'd just give you an update of where we are with the work in progress. So I'm currently sitting on a couple of seats. These are currently in the forward facing position, and there will be a seat belt on one of them. Haven't decided which, but I've used a short length of unwinds track to mount this seat on. And normally it's going to be facing the other way around. I'm going to turn them around in a minute because I'm actually doing some work to frame out the blind for this window here. And I've just cut this super quick insulation back and folded it out the way for the time being. But this seat, I've always wanted to have a third passenger seat, or maybe a fourth, but certainly at least one seat belt in here. This van on the V5 is registered for 9 passengers. We should change that because it's never going to carry 9 passengers. And then the rest of the work I've been doing, if I can get back far enough, is building the cabinet for the fridge. And one of the criteria in this van was always to have the fridge, there you can see those dents, always to have the fridge at eye level, so that we can actually use it. I need to swap the door around because it's currently hinged on the wrong side, but we don't want to be bending down and reaching down. This cabinet, ventilated at the top, and a similar load of holes in the shelf at the bottom, and then that panel there, another hole for ventilation. And then here, as you can see, I've got one of the heater outlets here which will come forward to this point here on a T and also go into the shower room, and then that's going to have a shelf on there. We will use this for storage. I'll put a hinge on the shelf, but this is going to have that black wheelie bin thing we've got, the thing we bought at the NEC several years ago, that we use in Woz. It's fantastic for keeping dog food in dog tins, and also we use it as a shopping trolley. So I've designed this cabinet very similar to the undercooker storage area. Up here, this may be an open cupboard, I haven't decided yet. I need to obviously ensure we get ventilation there. The intake for the extractor fan into the shower room will be up here somewhere, so the idea is to pull air up through and then vent it out through the extractor in the shower room. The shower room itself, I've just framed it out, and I've used a piece of plywood that edge is square, both corners, simply to make sure that the sides behind the seat, that bulkhead there, or the part of the bulkhead there, the side behind there and this side here, obviously this wall here, are square to the floor, because there's nothing really to take any measurements from in a camper van for squareness. So it's what really has to look right to the eye, and because this unit is going to be virtually the first thing you see when you come in the door, I wanted the sides to look square. And I've been very lucky. I put this Max Fan skylight in over a year ago, 18 months ago, and I put it in knowing that the shower room would probably go here, and I've got my measurements almost perfect. By the time this wall is built, because this is just a single piece of 5mm ply at the moment, by the time I frame this out in a proper wall, put the door in, I think we're going to be just about on that edge. I haven't trimmed this. This is a ceiling piece of ply for the shower room. I haven't trimmed this down yet, and I need to sort of mark it off up here and lose this section. Originally I had hoped to get away with building another cabinet maybe 6 inches from here for storage, but part of the experiment in fitting in these seats shows me there wouldn't have been any foot room, or not enough foot room, especially when the seats are turned around, which is what I'm going to do in a minute. I've framed out the area for the bed, and obviously the division between what's going to become the boot and the edge of the bed frame is now in place. The bed supports are bolted using riv nuts in, and I've got this width as maximum as I can get using the super quilt. I can't get a wider bed in here if I try short of putting flares in. All the ply at the moment, these panels, they're just tacked in because I've got to take these lockers down and do some work on these lockers, and I need to frame out the back. But the main thing I wanted to get done was to get the shower unit in place. I've made it slightly smaller than the one it was. Build this cabinet here because that determines how much space I had from this point here through to here for my blind. I had thought at one point in time I'd have to put quite a small blind in, but because we've now not really going to get this extra cabinet in here, I can use this full width blind. This is a 980mm blind, and that will just where I've marked that red line there, that is going to be effectively there or thereabouts, and that will give us a nice bright window on this side of the van as well. And the reason for playing around with this seat today in this position and in its other position is because the trim piece of the blind, he says, trying to reach it, this piece will go approximately there, and I'm just about to turn the seat round and make sure that when this is here, or maybe a bit further forward out, the headrest doesn't clobber it. So that's what I'm going to do next, turn the seats round. So there you are. That's the seat now turned in the way we're normally going to have it, and then there will be a table across here. Let's just move that out of the way for a moment. And this part of the blind is going to be about there, and you can see just the blind will just miss the seat when it's fully down, because I've got this seat right up against the wall as far as I go. I need to maximise the space, but that will end up there-ish, maybe a bit further forward. I haven't quite decided yet, but there-ish. And that red line up there is where the top of the blind is going to be. And this is a 980mm by 640mm standard caravan blind. But that seat now allows me to, or us rather, to sit here looking at this delightful lump of plywood. This is probably the worst, crappiest, poorest quality bit of plywood I've ever bought in my life. I've even had to glue it in places because it wasn't even properly laminated, and I may not actually use this bit of plywood. It really is truly awful. I may just use this as a template and fit something else here. For the time being, this is the partition. There will be a cupboard in this as well for heavy things like cans and stuff. We'll actually have a cupboard pretty much down the centre line of the van and open as far as this cabinet here. This cabinet is going to be our kitchen unit. At the moment it's just freestanding. I'm working on making sure everything fits. For example, the distance between the edge of the seat to there needs to allow for the cooker door to open fully, and we've got 3 inches spare at the moment. And then other things that you need to take into account. This door here needs to miss, and as you can see, 1.5 inches spare. So I can actually bring, if I need to, I can bring this cabinet forward by about another 2 inches. For example, if I find I haven't got the depth front to back for the cooker. And then the other thing I need to concentrate on, which is why at the moment the fridge, whoops, come on, opens the other way, is again to make sure we've got plenty of clearance when the doors open. Now, scribing. I've had to make 3 partition walls so far, scribed into the curve of the van. And my preferred tool, I'm not particularly good with the jigsaw, but I think you can see that line there is scribed as well as it needs to be, all the way up the top. This is my preferred tool, set to a depth of maybe 5mm. This 120mm blade, there's only maybe 3 or 4 teeth projecting out the bottom of the guide, and I can follow a line with this saw to within about 1/2 mil, and it's far, for me at least, far more accurate than using a jigsaw. It gives a cleaner cut, it doesn't wander, you can even go back and trim back. But that line there was just cut freehand, just following the you know, the line that I'd marked from my cardboard template originally. But that's just freehand, and I'm not going to complain about that. Once I've covered this in carpet or whatever I'm going to cover it is, you know, that will blend in beautifully. All these panels are either 3 or 5mm plywood, and you can see the outline there. I've just traced where all the framing is on the inside. That's a nice lightweight panel. I can put whatever finish on that I like. I probably will carpet behind these seats, because there's no need for anything fancy. But that weighs next to nothing, and it's cost me about 20 quid. You know, the only thing I haven't done yet, you can see it's all stapled, it's not glued together yet. The DeWalt stapler I use with 60mm staples is fantastic for quickly assembling things, especially when you need to take them apart, because there'll be cabling and stuff inside these panels as well, so they're all loosely put together at the moment, and it just works. I need to trim this off. You can see the pieces I've used to actually frame it out are oversized, but I've got to cut this down because this piece isn't square to the shower cabinet. It's about proud by about 1/4 inch at the top here, so I just need to trim that off. Although I'm doing right angles, effectively right angle there, and then on the floor, when you get on this side of the floor, it doesn't feel right. So I'm having to find a balance between what is truly square and what looks right to my eyes. And at the moment I can see that one doesn't, this panel doesn't look right. So there you go, there's an update of where we are. Oh, handle. That's coming off. It's very annoying. I'm going to have to cut it off with the saw, I can't unbolt it. But that's where we are now. Framing done. I'm beginning now, as I say, to work on the windows, to get those framed out, and then I can finish off the insulation. Then work on the kitchen cabinet and the window here. And then I can actually start doing some finish and actually decorating and beginning to put things together finally. I've decided with that bulkhead there, because I've used 1/2 of the shower room as a bulkhead, I'm going to make a bifold door there of some kind, so I can fold the whole thing out on the supporting framework I've already made over there, so that we can actually use that seat swivel. I'm not bothered about the driver's seat. This being an automatic van, I can't leave the handbrake off, and the seat swivel clobbers the handbrake. I haven't found a lowering kit that seems to work properly for the Mark II sprinters and crafters, but I've decided to non-swivel the driver's seat. We'll swivel that, and we're going to actually open the partition out completely on the left, and then the door, which will go roughly where that supporting piece of wood is at the moment, will then fold back against the shower room door, shower room wall, and then the actual shower room door is going on this side. But things are progressing. Hadn't done an update for a while, thought I'd do one. Thanks for watching.